Dear students, I hope that all of you are fine and you're staying at home and you're taking care of yourselves and your families. And also, I expect that you're completing your English assignments regularly. Okay, now here's another English lesson for the Cambridge 2 students. We are going to discuss paper 1 today, directed writing from paper 1. And here's another topic for the formal letter. I have taken this question from your textbook, Oxford Progressive English Book 10. And before we proceed further, let's have a look at the lesson objectives. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to design a draft for your letter. This is a formal letter we are going to discuss today, and you're going to make a final draft. And after having done that, you will be able to write within the word limit, that is 200 to 300 words for the standard directed writing question, and you will be able to cover the 3 points for the directed writing. Now, the question says that your head teacher has received a phone call from a member of the public. He said he saw a student in uniform at 10 a.m. arguing with two men outside the school gates. He noticed that the student was holding some money. As the member of the public approached them, the man ran off and the student put something in his pocket and ran back inside the school. As he ran, he dropped a book which has your name on it. Now your head teacher requires answers to the following questions in the form of written statement. And these points are: why were you out of the school during the lesson time? The first point. And the second one is: who were the men and what were you arguing about? And the third point is: why did you have money in your hand? In your written statement, concentrate on the clarity and accuracy and cover all the 3 questions or the 3 points in detail. Now, since you know that this is going to be a letter of clarification, you have done letter of complaint, you've done other formal letters. Now, this letter falls into the category of letter of clarification. And as we have discussed earlier, that in a formal letter, you have to maintain the formal tone and the formal register of your letter. Now, again, coming back to the marking scheme of the directed writing question, it carries 30 marks, as you're familiar with that. And we have discussed that earlier as well. And the task fulfillment, it carries 15 marks, and the language, it carries 15 marks. Now, as you already know, that the task fulfillment means that there are 3 points in the directed writing question which are given in the question. So you're going to see that how well you are covering the 3 points, how good you are covering the 3 points. So then you're going to get marks in the category of the task fulfillment. Then how you're starting your letter, how you're ending your letter, how you're dividing your content within different paragraphs. Similarly, talking about the language part, it carries 15 marks, and of course language is a big term. You have to see that you have to make the correct sentence construction. You're not going to have any tense errors there, and you're not going to have any spelling errors there, and you have to punctuate your sentences properly, and then you have to see that the question is written in the proper tense. For example, particularly if you talk about this question, it would be written, you're going to talk about the past, but you're writing the letter in, of course, the present tense, and you are relating the incident and the events from the past. And again, you have to maintain the formal tone and the formal register of your letter. This is a letter of clarification, and you're going to clear your name, and you're going to shed light, and you have to give facts about different things that has happened in the past, and you want to clear your name. So you have to be in a very formal tone and in a very polite kind of a way. You're going to clarify yourself. This is how you're going to maintain the formal register of your letter. Now, before you move on to the final draft, dear students, you're going to just think about the question, think about the incident as if it had happened actually to you, and you're going to write down the points of the rough draft. Now, while the ideas are coming to your mind and you're doing the mind mapping, you're going to write down the points of the rough draft in the form of phrases, maybe in the form of bullet points, or maybe in the form of just a word can be your point of the rough draft. Now, once that you have written the rough draft and you have thought about it, that what is the reason that you were out of the school gates, and you're going to have a clarification on that. It could be any possibility. It could be that maybe that you have ordered something. It was maybe your friend's birthday and you have ordered something for her, or maybe it could be that you have placed an order of books and it was not possible for the delivery people to deliver it to you at your home, so you have ordered it in school. Or it could be that you were not feeling very well in the school and you have ordered some medicines and you were there to pick them up and you were out of the school gate. or it could be that maybe you've ordered maybe a pack of books, maybe you've ordered for that, and you're out of the school gates to pick up the item or the books or the any eatable or the medicine, whatever is the case. It could be any possibility, but that has to be a real one, and that has to be a practical one, and that has to be a genuine reason that why you were out. You have ordered something and you were there to pick it up from the delivery people. Now that you have thought about it and that you have written the points of the rough draft, you're going to make your final draft, and then you have to see that how you have to divide different paragraphs according to the different points of the directed writing, the first point, the second point, and the third point. And you can just go about like the first point, the first paragraph, the second point, the second paragraph, the third point, the third paragraph. Now in when you're making the final draft, in the first paragraph of your letter, you're going to write down you'll be writing the purpose of your letter. Now what is the purpose of your letter? And why you're writing it to your head teacher, of course, that you want to clarify yourself and you want to clarify your name, and why you were out of the school gates during the lesson time. This is going to be the first paragraph. Now, since we're talking about the final draft, and in the second paragraph, you're going to talk about that as the second point of the directed writing question says that what were you arguing about with the two people, and who were the two men? So you can write that the two men, they were the delivery people, they were the delivery boys, and why you were arguing with them. It could be that you were arguing with them about the money, or maybe the item that you had ordered that was not suitable, or that was not appropriate, or you wanted to return it, or something like that. The argument could be about that. That is the second paragraph. Now, the third paragraph of your letter, that why did you have the money in your hand, the third point, that would be in the third paragraph. And of course you will say that you were having the money because you have to pay for the item that you had ordered, whether it was books or medicine or any other eatable or anything that you had ordered for. So you wanted to pay money for that. So that is the third point, that is the reason that you were having money in your hand. And similarly, you have to see that you have to link different paragraphs with the help of connectives. And again, in the last small paragraph of your letter, you're going to see that how you have to wind up your letter, and you, in a very formal tone, in a very formal register, you have to apologize, and again you have to request your head teacher that you're shedding light on the facts, and you want to clear your name, and you want to clarify that you are having a good record in the school academically as well as otherwise, and you have been a very scholarly school student, and you're a very studious student, and this was just a misunderstanding on your part, and you want to clarify that. So again, in the letter, in the last small paragraph, in a very formal way, you're going to end your letter, and you're going to say that you're hoping that your whatever you're writing, that is well understood by the authorities, and they're well understood by your head teacher who is required for the letter, required to write a letter. And then you're going to end your letter with yours sincerely or yours faithfully, and then your signature and your name in the end. And then you have to see that you're not going to exceed the word limit. That is, you have to keep in between 200 to 250 or 300, but not more than 300, because if you are writing more, you're making more mistakes. This is how you have to make your final draft. Now I have given you a list of vocabulary that could be a help to start off with this question. But of course, you're going to look for your own words, and you're going to look for your own phrases, and you look for your own idioms that could be fit in this particular question. It's a letter of clarification. Okay, now let's have a recap of the question, that what have we learned today, what have we done today in this lesson. We have attempted a directed writing question, that is a formal letter, and for that we have designed a rough draft, and after having done the rough draft, we have made the final draft, and during the final draft we have divided up paragraphs staying within the word limit, and we have made and written the final draft in 200 to 300 words, that is the standard word limit. And we have covered the 3 points of the directed writing question, and you have to see that how you have covered the 3 points of directed writing question in sequence, and you have to make sure that you are giving equal weightage to the 3 points of the directed writing question, so that you can get good marks in the task fulfillment part. Okay, I think that the instructions for today's lesson, they are quite clear, and now you move on to the assignment part. Thank you so much.